and welcome to the SmackDown review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by little Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture. Here to review everything that happened on this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also Monday Night Raw, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AW Dynamite, AW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup that we complete with a big quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to review this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. Just classing it.
I double checked because it was doing my head in after we discussed it on Friday. What with SmackDown now being on USA, of course being part of the NBC Universal group.
Aha.
And when we were sat, I think with Phil as well.
Yeah.
And between us, we'd had the Fox tune in our heads and couldn't work out the Universal one. And it goes, da 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 dum dum.
Oh yes.
Da 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 da. And there's like a recorder one that you can steal off the internet that's just like that.
Brilliant. I'll add that to the...
Brilliant. So it's totally, I thought when I heard it, I thought it was totally brilliant. So so if Pox is finished, Universal is brilliant.
Yeah.
And so was Packdown.
It was incredible. Yet again.
Yeah. I think offer a bit more of a balanced appraisal of the whole 2 hours.
I'm pretty hard taskmaster.
Yeah.
SmackDown, yeah.
I love what I love on it, and I think we share a lot of the same loves of this show. But it can occasionally just exist. Just get away with Moida, just be really boring and throw away because they know with such confidence that Cody and the Bloodline are going to carry everything else. This was not one of those. Pleasingly, this was not one of those. There was loads to get into here. The mid-card feels stronger than it's been in a while. And I think a pivot that I don't like on the surface has been made with regards to one of the biggest upcoming matches in the calendar, and yet they're selling me on it.
I disagree with it.
I alluded to this on the Raw preview, but I knew we'd be getting into this in a bit more detail. Yeah, this weekend's television, maybe the last 7 days, in fact, have made me think that one of the big upcoming matches is not what we thought it was going to be, but I think it's going to work out all right.
All right, Craig David, we'll find out what is your flavour in a short while, but we'll start at the beginning of the show with Randy Orton coming out, saying it's been a minute. Welcome to everybody to Friday Night SmackDown. He said he could count the amount of people he trusts in this one hand. Cody Rhodes is one of them, but it's interesting that Cody's team with Roman Reigns, bad blood, doesn't sit right with him. But Cody, come out here, let's see your explanation. And Cody's music hits, and he comes out, and he's really good.
That's exactly what he did.
Oklahoma City and Randy Orton. What do you guys want to talk about? He said, "What do you guys want to talk about?"
That's what he did. Well,
that's what he says.
I've forgotten the words of. It's funny. You think I remember them because I hear it probably twice a week at a minimum. You know the words that play before Cody's theme hits. So there's like you hear his voice, it's like a voice.
Oh yeah. Boom, boom. Do you want me to remind you?
Yeah, you have to remind me. Yeah, yeah.
You can do the bum bum.
Bum bum.
Well, that's
okay, yeah. That's it. Yeah, it's
great.
That's clear to me now. Yeah, thank you.
No, I'm getting a headache. I am not a champion.
When Cody wanted to win the title, it wasn't enough just to say at WrestleMania he had to win the title. He kind of had a different, like, 3-word phrase for that, didn't he?
At WrestleMania, he wanted to. I'm getting a headache. Finish the story. Welcome back, Nicholas.
Back, baby.
Good holiday, Nicholas.
Oh, it was terrific. Yeah. In fact, some might even call it.
Cody said he might.
In case you couldn't hear that, by the way, Nicholas said he had a brilliant time, and hopefully soon you'll be able to hear that clearer than ever before. And tease this stuff out now, can't we? It is happening, right? Yeah.
Cody said he must look like
he must look like a brilliant dog.
He must look like a fool by teaming in road race.
Don't me daughter.
But I'd rather be a fool than a coward.
Fool and a coward.
He said Roman's given me his word multiple times. He hasn't lied yet, so I'm going to take him at his word. Get an OTC chant. But Cody doesn't know how he's standing there with the apex predator, the legend killer. You must understand that the legend of the bloodline must be killed. He hopes it's not a problem for Orton and extends his hand. And Orton shakes his hand, pulls him in for a knock, and says, not yet, says, it's not a problem unless you make it a problem. Kevin Owens' music hits, and I thought, oh, it's going to be interesting. What's he going to have to say? He doesn't get a chance to. He's wearing an RKO t-shirt, though. His allegiances are clear here. But Solo, Sikoa, and the rest of the bloodline come out. Sikoa tells Oklahoma City to acknowledge him. And everyone boos and just chants for the OTC. And he says, look, I know Roman gave you his word, Cody. You should trust him because you're going to need him. Owens and Orton aren't going to be any good for you at the end of the day. Every time you try to take out the bloodline alongside Orton and Owens, you failed, which is true, I suppose. Yep. You have to team with Reigns because Owens and Orton always let you down. Owens tells him to shut his stupid face and challenges the bloodline to a tag match. And Cody's like, yeah, the three of us are going to take on. And Owens is like, no. You get your chance to beat him up at Bad Blood. Me and Orton will take him on tonight. Awkward.
Perfect TV wrestling scene set in this. And this, I'm going to talk about this now, but it will pop up later on when we talk about what happened when they actually got to the match. This was the sort of following on from Jey Uso winning the Intercontinental title. This was, my second strong suspicion, apologies for the alliteration, that it might not be Bloodline versus Goodline at Survivor Series War Games. It might be the Bloodline versus a big team of baby faces that are basically in front of us here. Maybe 4-on-4, and it may be Cody, Orton, Owens, and Roman Reigns. And it's kind of an extension of what they're going to do in the Bad Blood tag. And that's fine, because they're four of the biggest star baby faces.
Yeah.
Kind of resembles the one we had last year when it was the baby faces against the Judgment Day and Drew. So it's not dissimilar in that regard. I think it slightly tempers everybody's excitement about the fact that you still had to get Roman back with Jimmy, Roman back with Jay, Sammy back into the mix, which can all come down the line.
Yeah.
But and this is based on nothing other than I think myself and then a few other people have maybe seen the way the TV looks and started to question out loud if maybe our fantasy booking is not going to come to the fore. But if it doesn't, and it is this it's going to be one of the best Can They Coexists ever, because you've got Roman and Cody that are about to team, and Roman about to prove himself as a man of his word to Cody in a tag setting. Then he potentially has to do it with Orton and especially Kevin Owens, because he's always got to be the one holdout. Even Randy Orton might be able to make his peace with the Bloodline, but Kevin Owens, in theory, should never, ever be able to make his peace unless, as a nice call back to 2022, when Sammy proved himself to the Bloodline, you have Roman prove himself to the baby faces and do like a spear or a Superman punch and then say, Owens, you get the win. Like, I'm showing you here, like, I'm willing to punch my own cousin in the face for you to get the pin. Like, it's time that we put some water under the bridge, whatever.
Or Owens is like, I don't even want to be near you. And then Roman handcuffs himself to Owens. He's like, you're stuck with me now. Get in this golf cart. Let's go for a drive.
Sure is a gamble, but maybe they'll take that gamble and figure it out. I don't know. I mean, that's really thrown me off because I want to see that now. Like, you could make an old, like, network special, like on Netflix, the two of them.
Swallows the key.
Someone's like some terrible comedian and one of their parents. We're going to go on a journey. No, you're not. Netflix have just paid you to go to America. Pay us to go to America, Netflix. Like,
say Jack Whitehall's dad's funny. It's just you have to watch Jack Whitehall at the same time.
Yeah, he's the other one as well. The one who got jacked and hunky. Russell Howard.
Oh, is he just doing one of them?
His mum or something. I don't know. It's all trash. Like, I admire Ramesh Ranganathan.
I like him.
Saying, well, I do all this work because I've got 6 kids. So it's like, oh, what? So you need to, like, pay a lot of bills?
And he does it with
I want to go out.
The other one with the big teeth.
Yes.
I like him.
Rob Beckett.
Yeah, I like those two.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. So Rob Beckett and Ramesh Ranganathan can very much be a Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns type of double act, handcuffed on a golf cart.
Okay.
Brian. That was what I was going to say. Kevin Owens was about to say something presumably very profound about how none of this can possibly work. And Cody, what are you thinking? The cutoff took place at the right time. And as we'd get later on, this was the episode where Randy Orton started to be very much, well, I know what you're talking about. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
But kind of
Snake, what are you talking about?
Yeah, kind of the guiltiest party of all, hiding in plain sight, because as we said when the Kevin Owens story started, this feels like it exists to one day set up the Randy Orton heel turn. I am now wondering if they get to Survivor Series as a babyface quartet, and then in the aftermath of that, Orton turns.
I think you might be right. I think the things do seem to stack up there. I think I'm just holding out hope because I'd love the idea of this 5-man team.
Yep.
Jimmy, Jay, Sammy, Cody, Roman. As I've mentioned before, Roman's the only one without a belt in that.
I love it. I want the Usos back. I want to see...
And he'd have to sort of shove it in the face of, like, I'm going to pick you. And, I mean, he's not picking the team. It's Roman, basically. But, like, yeah, we're not having Randy and Kev on this team. And then when Randy turns, Kev may well turn with him because he'd be like, you're completely justified. Yeah,
I didn't like what Randy did to you, but you were hanging out with the Bloodline, and I told you this was a bad idea. It never ends well with them, ever. Like him as this, you know how we always used to joke about when WWE was just absolutely abysmal creatively? Like Kevin Owens was the one character that made sense of the rules of that universe. He's made sense of the rules of this one too.
Yeah.
And even though this is all very logical, the Bloodline being just bastards, just perpetual bastards on SmackDown is something he cannot sanction, even in the face of Roman Reigns telling Cody to his face that he's not going to screw him.
Yeah.
I like Owens not doing that.
We're going to pick a 5th member of this team to join me, the Usos, and Cody. And it's one of Cody's best Canadian friends. Someone who's had a lot of history with the Bloodline. Sami Zayn, thanks very much.
In you come.
Kevin. What? Yeah, I love this story, and we'll get back to it a little bit later on, of course. Speaking of issues, though, Tiffany Stratton and backstage, Nia Jax is not happy. She's baffled as to how they didn't get rid of either Bayley or Naomi last week, and she grabs Tiffany Stratton by the neck, and Stratton apologizes for what happened. And Nia says, if it ends bad for me, it'll end really, really bad for you. And then she sort of, hey, yeah, but all works out with mates, aren't we? So, see you later. And then for a split second, you see Tiffany think, what am I really getting out of this?
Well, yeah, because she's just been strangled. Like, I can't make my mind up on this because I think I preferred it in my guts as a thick wrestling fan that I am. I think I just preferred it when there was a bit of ambiguity. Like, we all knew what was happening, but the idea was everybody keeps up the pretense that she's never going to cash in on you, Nia. She's going to cash in on you, Nia. And we were all supposed to think it. But WWE does take more care with its characters now, and the wrestlers in general are more intelligent. The wrestlers, if they're not watching the television, they are remembering the experiences they lived through, which is a real upgrade from how it used to be.
Yes.
So Nia Jax has lived through enough experiences where it's looked, for all intents and purposes, that Tiffany Stratton's going to screw her. So is now deciding to kind of put the frighteners on her. But does that not sort of bring about the end of their relationship as we once knew it? Is that now, like, is Tiffany just a character ruled by fear, and why would she not cash in as soon as possible? So, like, every single week she should be thinking, this is my opportunity, this is my opportunity. And then when she doesn't take it, every single week is Nia Jax not stupid or long term for not just getting rid, for just binning her off? Like,
I think there's going to be a prolonged period now where Tiffany does not cash in.
Because of the fear of maybe.
And she's the sort of, people are like, I think I want Tiffany Stratton to cash in for her.
Yeah.
Not only just to get the title off Nia.
Well, again, it's Triple H copying his own homework, isn't it? It's Roman and Sammy. It's various times that Gunther's ruled Imperium with violence.
Virgil and Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, this didn't feel like the right way for this one to go unless they intend to pay it off a little bit sooner. Feels like they've accelerated quite a bit here.
Just picture the scene. Nia's retained the title, maybe past, Bad Blood.
Yeah.
He passed even Survivor Series. And Tiffany says, up you go, Nia. She gets her on their shoulders. They're celebrating. They're walking around the ring. Boom! Electric chair. Cash in, baby.
And the visual will be fantastic, so I'm all up for it. I just, they've already passed, for me, I don't want to be sort of like offhand about these things. They've already sort of passed Kenny and Hangman. I just wanted them to get to MJF Punk. And maybe we're not going to do that with these two now.
But in relation to this, we obviously have to find out who is going to be the #1 contender heading into Bad Blood. And then we got immediately after this, Bayley versus Naomi. Loved Naomi's Uno gear.
Yes. So we had different interpretations of this, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I like I just like that it was an Uno pattern.
We like Uno.
Love Uno.
Yeah.
Love Uno. My kids love Uno. So every time that Uno have a cash-in, where it's like a Mario edition, a Minecraft edition, like...
What are they versions? Are they just got pictures of people on it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just
okay.
Uno, but like there was a one that came out when Lightyear came out at the cinema and the kids just were into that for a bit. So it was like £5. Yeah, all right. That's like the 100 games of Uno. There is...
Can you gimmick an Uno game for your kids?
Yeah, you just got to not have them spot you looking at the cards.
Okay.
Basically, you've got to cheat in a way to help them win. So you've got to like try and peer over and see what they've got and then play them into... oh no, you've got me with a pick up 4. Like, jokes
Psych.
Yes, double 4, pick up 8, loser. One of mine loves...
Your tiny child hands can barely hold all the cards.
Well, there's a game called Uno All Wild. Now,
ooh.
It's a bit of you, this, I think, right? It's just basically...
It's like Oops All Berries, that cereal.
Yeah, strictly funny voices Uno, this is. There's no, like, analysis in between the funny voices. Just buttons and voices. So you can play every single time, right? So the minimum you've got is the wild card with a 4 on. However, it takes the absolute piss with the pick up 4, pick up 26. Like, you just, like, you can get got all the time. So it's, you think, oh, I'm 2 cards from the end. I'm home and dry because it's all wild. I can always play. But there's always like a William Regal snake in the grass ready to just like put you right back to where you were, including, and this is the absolute, never mind aces and 8s, this is a dead man's hand, swap hands.
Oh.
So you've like worked something, you've got 1 card left and it's like, it's their turn, and then you just play the swap hands. Like that, and they go Uno, and then you've got 1 chance after that to try and keep yourself in the game.
That's amazing. Yeah. We played a themed version of, I think it was Monopoly. Someone had a Game of Thrones themed version of Monopoly, and it was like, okay, very nice. You build castles instead of building houses or whatever. And I'm not playing as the topper. I'm playing as Littlefinger or whatever.
Your sister, go directly to jail.
Right, but
it's Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Oh,
he did, didn't he? Yeah.
I was sort of enjoying. Oh, this is fine, you know. And then I got like a
lot of grabbing hold of the community chests in Game of Thrones.
Got like a chance card, and you know they used to have like the get out of jail free card. It was just it was basically like an instant win card. It was like there was 3 of us playing. That's already, you know, if one person takes the lead, it's kind of heading that way. And it just said, red wedding card, kill one of your fellow players and take all of their things. And I was like, oh, I think I've won. Bang. And it was just like, thank you. I'll take the other player who's got all the other big castles. Do you want to roll the dice? Oh, you've landed on a castle, of course.
Monopoly and this...
The only other card, like dragons, burn the entire board.
Throw the pieces at your nearest player. Monopoly, right? I feel like we might have discussed Monopoly on the SmackDown coverage before.
Okay.
But Monopoly is an inherently flawed game, I think. I don't mind a game of it once in a while. I'm not a games person, really. The only game I like is Paul Levesque. But, like, the family games at Christmas and that, this pretense that you kind of just talk and eat chocolate much. I don't
watch the Fed. Can I go upstairs and watch the Fed?
Can I go to the toilet with my biscuits and watch the Fed on my phone, please? But like the ceremony around games, right? And all, I'm not into it. Just talk to each other or ignore each other. Both are fine. Like, but anyway, we all get a game out. Monopoly is the most flawed of the bunch, right?
You can't play Monopoly.
Well, the thing is, it's obviously people associate it with having big rows and all that kind of thing. But after about, let's say, 10 turns of the board, maybe even less sometimes, out of a little bit of luck or of the dice or whatever, somebody is just in complete charge. By 10 turns, somebody's in the driver's seat, and nobody turns it round.
No.
Like, it's like a Twitter argument at this point where, like, you can keep thinking you've got the very best points, but that person is not going to come down from their stance. Nobody's going to agree. You know what? That thing I said 18 tweets ago, an entire night of disagreeing, I now actually think your way. So it just becomes the one that was completely in front of the rest, grinding you down for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's no longer fun. It's not that much fun for the person in charge. Even super competitive people that just like to win, they're not winning well.
No.
There's not that sense of achievement out of it. Meanwhile, the 2 or 3 people that are losing, like if I'm you in that game, if I'm another player in your game, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you get that card because I've been wanting you to put me out of misery.
I'm dressed as a Monopoly man, by the way, as well.
Well, right. I mean, that changes everything. Let's play Monopoly. But Do you see my point?
Yeah.
There's no point where somebody, that kind of card changes the game. You need that if you're on the losing end. In Shoot Monopoly, there's nothing like that.
That's why the Wilbourn household always play charades. That's a classic. Love it.
Do you have to think of your own charades, or is it like you put some stuff in a pot? Or
sometimes someone can't be asked to buy someone else a present, so they've just got a stocking filler, which is just like names of films on a big piece of paper.
We had some family.
Thanks, I couldn't think of The Lion King without your help.
We had some family up recently, and
Eric's rubbish at it, by the way.
I'm not going on his team again. And when he's doing it, he speaks, and that's not the rules.
Dada. No, it's not Dada. You said that 3 times. How many times have I got to tell you? We
played a card game the other week, and again, this is my wife pretending that we're games people, and we're not games people. We had some family up, and she was like, let's get a game out. And I was like, what? I've been married for 14 years. You've never said that before. Where did this come from? But you'd love it. They've found a way to turn Wonky Donkey into a family card game.
Yes.
Called Obama Llama.
Brilliant.
Well, there's the format, basically.
Yeah.
They've taken Wonky Donkey, but you've got
It's got to rhyme.
There's these mini games. Yeah. There's these mini games, right? And it gets you to the end board. And the end board's got sort of 9 or 12 cards out. And you get to turn over 2. And if you get a rhyme, you get that pair. Oh. And it's the one who gets the most pairs at the end. But it just thinks it's wacky. So you might have I've turned over llama. I'm looking for the Obama card. A piece of cheese.
Oh, no!
Obama doesn't rhyme with a piece of cheese.
Orange?
Yeah. And then you turn over another, it's a polite person saying, yes, please. And the drama's supposed to be, oh, God, where's a piece of cheese? But it's 12, you remember it was that one.
Yeah, there's not many cards.
No, it's just Wonky Donkey was pretty much perfect as it was. It's got to rhyme. And they've tried to make a card to just make people talk to, just talk to each other or don't. Just talk, put the telly on and either talk to each other or all just agree silently, telepathically to just not speak to each other and watch the telly. I don't like games.
Just drink at Christmas.
But yeah, I'm not
cheese.
Drinking at home, really, but if you like drinking and eating, that's fine too. I don't get it. I don't get those games. It was really expensive as well. There's always one based on a TV show that doesn't work as well as a TV show because there's no stakes. It's like, oh, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That's really dramatic. We'll play it on the telly. Well, I'll just gamble. It's not real money.
Yeah. Hang on 1 second. C, final answer.
What have you done? I've asked my phone. It's like a friend. Phone a friend. Remember it on the PlayStation?
Yeah, I got it on the PlayStation. I don't know what I was thinking.
Millionaire at home. An animated Chris Tarrant that's pixely. C. You lose. I feel nothing. You win. I equally feel nothing.
Like if you win it, just open up a little thing on the PlayStation and £1 million would fall out. At least that's pretty good value, you know.
At least on the PlayStation weakest link, you had pixelated Anne Robinson calling you a like that had a bit of something.
You stupid bastard.
A bit of something to it. All right, dickhead. Putting FIFA on.
So Naomi's in Uno gear.
Yeah.
For a match against Bailey, determine the one contender at Bad Blood. It's all good early on.
I think it's because she's.
Oh, sorry, yeah, we didn't even mention.
I think she's kind of
why we liked it.
She's maybe illustrating through the medium of Uno, a goated game, that she wants to be more on her own rather than this team with Bailey. You also made the point that.
Yeah, oh no, I might turn heel.
You didn't make it like that in the office.
The reverse, Uno reverse.
We've also got this gimmick where you press a button and then it's like somebody says, pick up, or press the button, Uno summit or other, and it fires the cards out. So you might get 1, you might get 6.
Whoa. The mousetrap used to take ages to set up. You're like, oh, I love the bit at the end. Where like, 2 hours before that. Jesus Christ, this is taking a while, isn't it?
Build a piece. Add boot.
Put the marble in the thing.
The juice wasn't worth the cheese with mousetrap, was it?
So they go for pins early
Nicholas
on.
Looks like he wants to book a holiday.
I think he already is.
I'm already there.
I've seen everything.
I've
been back in 15 minutes. Evil Uno.
Evil Uno.
Yes, maybe. She's about to turn heel.
He's back in Chicago, as we will be, of course, for the NXT show tomorrow.
Yeah, need to wrap this up so we can get that flight, don't we? That'd be mint, wouldn't it? Imagine if that was our life. Wrap this podcast and then you don't have to do Collision and we fly to NXT. That'd be unreal, that, wouldn't it? I want to price that up when we get out of the office.
So they go for pins, but they won't really lay it into each other. Bailey stops herself from punching Naomi. She's like, what are you doing? What's on the line here? Get into it. Then, all right, fair enough. Fair's fair. We're mates. We'll shake hands afterwards, but let's twat each other.
Yep.
So Naomi super kicks Bayley. She rolls to the outside. Naomi hits a nice plancha to take us to a break. When we come back, Bayley hits an elbow to reset everything. Gets a back suplex and a suicide dive onto Naomi, who's rolled to the outside. When they get back in, though, Naomi hits a rear view for a 2 count. Naomi eventually kicks Bayley, goes up top for a blockbuster. Tries to follow up with a suplex, but Bayley countered into a suplex of her own. Then Sunset flips Naomi into the bottom turnbuckle and gets a turnbuckle. She goes for the Bayley to belly, but Naomi countered and Bulldog Bayley into the turnbuckle. Naomi went up top, flew off but missed, and Bayley hit the Bayley to belly, that signature elbow of hers, and got the 1, 2, 3. Naomi a bit upset as she walks the back, but Bayley celebrates, heading to Bad Blood.
Good match.
Yeah.
Good match. Both of them needed it as well. Just a good, straight up singles match. Loads of fire. The stakes might have helped. It actually feels like this division is showing signs of life over on SmackDown, because these are not fighting for the title. They are fighting for the right to fight for the title. So you're dropping, and it's not the only story on SmackDown that's doing this with the women's division. You were dropping a layer below the actual title feud, which realistically is between Nia and Tiffany Stratton as we line up opponents. And the sort of queue for opponents getting bigger allows for this Bayley-Naomi thing on one side and all the dumpster match stuff on the other side. Like, at pains to sort of point out where they're going wrong on Raw, but maybe it's just a shorter runtime. Maybe that'll help on Monday, so next few months. But this was a really good bit of business, and I don't want to just drag Bayley or drag Naomi for sort of indifferent form this year, but it felt powered by the stakes and the story massively. You could see they were both doing a bit of acting with their eyes about when they wanted to attack, and like you could really feel Naomi's frustration, that sense that she wasn't going to get it done, and then didn't, and then looked like they did the best version of like good sportsmanship, but not really. The both of them as well really, really engage in this, and they've proper got me on the hook for like the turn. Like Naomi did something in this match, and I can't remember what it was, but I keep thinking that because they did that 1D tease a few weeks ago, and a couple of other things she said and done, that she might, in this attempt to like try and find her path and feeling a bit lost, I think she might join the Bloodline.
Ooh.
I think that might where it goes. And then when at the point at which you bring Jimmy back towards
Jesus,
and then having his real life partner now with the opposition Bloodline, maybe that's a route they take. I don't know, but there's certainly clues there that you could draw that line.
We see a recap of the weird non-handshake fist bump thing from last week between Andrade and L.A. Knight. And Andrade's walking backstage and runs into the US champ. He says, "Real men shake hands to show respect, and therefore you lost my respect." Before Knight can respond, Carmelo Hayes comes flying in out of nowhere and knocks LA Knight over one of those flight cases and then says, "See you out there." And Andrade just sort of goes, I mean, I didn't care about him, so.
We talk about Jim Ross on about the Attitude Era when you've got the Shark Tank and everybody wanting to be the best, and Austin having a bit of a pop at The Rock when he's out in the ring, and The Undertaker not being too keen that Chris Jericho embarrassed him after he told the story of going to the desert and eating the Big Show's flesh for a coat. All that sort of stuff. The competitive, like Triple H willing to do anything to get ahead, makes me sick to my stomach, Jew. The version of that in WWE currently is, right, are you seeing what Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman are doing on Raw? We've got to at least make it competitive. We might not be able to top it. They might not give us as many props. Smash each other as hard as we possibly can. These backstage brawls as part of this story have been tremendous.
This wasn't brawl. It was just a kill shot.
Just brilliant.
Where'd that come from? Rewound it. And then we got Mello Andrade 6. I am rapidly convincing myself that this is the feud of the year.
You're going to eat some real pelters for that one. But I respect your commitment to it because it's not a bit.
It's just great.
I've watched you put this over.
Week in and week out.
Yeah.
I'll admit, when we went into it, like maybe week 2, first week, you're like, okay, neither of them are doing out. Let's just chuck them together. They're both great wrestlers. Let's just chuck them together. Week 2, you really have gotten out for them, so you're just going to make them go 50-50. I realise they've gone 50-50 here. It's 3-3 after this, spoiler alert. But this is very different. Week 3, you're like, wait a second. This is getting better every week, and they're learning from it, and now we get this brilliant yet again. Andrade controls early. At one point early on, Andrade gets draped over the second rope, right? And Hayes runs at him, and Andrade power slams him whilst being draped on the second rope. I was like, what the hell's this?
Yeah. It's and the thing is as well, that specific spot, as amazing as it looks, smash the button.
Oh my God.
Was a upgrade from the counter butt in the ring the prior week. There are a million examples at this point where they're like adding stuff that we've seen in the prior matches, because as you point out, there's been 5 of them. Like they're allowed to sort of repeat stuff, but if they can take it higher, they take it higher.
It's the opposite to when Jinder was champion and he had the same match for 3 months straight.
Yeah, they put it in a Punjabi prison, mate. You should probably do something else. Like, that is what they're doing now. They're sort of there, like it's on the game, isn't it? Where there's that like chaos button you can press where they do your usual finisher, but like off a balcony. Like they're trying to add that, but with the confines of a best of whatever series they're building.
Best of a million for me. Keep going.
People say 7 because that's just what we're used to, but like, who actually made that rule?
Yeah.
Go as long as you want.
When we come back, Andrade runs into a first 48 from Hayes for a 2 count. He's bleeding from the mouth, and this is worth him chance of going round. Hayes goes for double knees. Andrade moves, hits a forearm, and hits his double knees for a nice 2 count. Goes to the message, but Hayes counted into a springboard DDT for a near fall. That takes us to another break. When we come back, Hayes tries setting up for the superplex, but Andrade headbutts him down to the canvas, does that double jump, double attempt, moonsault, whatever you want to call it. Again, this is what him chance breakout. Andrade sets up for a suplex. Hayes counters with a facebuster and a cutter to get a 2 count. And then Andrade set up for a superplex, but as he goes to do it, Hayes hits a sort of neck breaker cutter thing for a holy chance.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And a brilliant...
Oh.
Apologies, my queen. And a brilliant 2 count.
That's how you lose the Game of Thrones Monopoly, that.
Yeah. Hayes goes for nothing but net. Andrade moves and hits that awesome spinning back elbow of his. That knocks Hayes to the outside. With him out there, here comes L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
But Andrade's like, don't get him DQ'd.
Yep.
Don't give him the win. In amongst all this, Andrade gets bumped into LA Knight, and Mello just rolls him up and grabs the 1, 2, 3 post-match. Andrade and Knight exchange words whilst Mello celebrates. Knight says, all right, let's do a handshake then, and Andrade just walks off. This is great.
Yeah, I can understand if people felt, and I saw a little bit of criticism towards the finish being cheap, but I kind of like...
All of Mello's have, haven't they?
Yeah.
Exposed turnbuckle.
They kind of... Remember when Pretty Deadly first came up to the main roster? And they went, they had Cody with them, I believe, initially. They weren't winning clean, but they continued to win, and it was like, how are they going to cheat this week until they finally got caught? Mello's doing that. What they're doing here is actually making a believer out of me and others that Mello can go. At long last, he is the HIM that they always said he wasn't NXT. But they're using the finishes to obscure that. He's winning through nefarious means or little cheats or banana... Not quite a banana peel, that's not fair. But certainly Andrade would have it done if it wasn't for ... And then Mello's capitalising. This is a neat way for LA Knight to be folded in to the rivalry, win a triple threat, and then dip back out and have the two of them go back to fighting. Yeah. That's how I sort of see this going. We get a triple threat. It's not going to be at Bad Bloods. It's either going to be on TV or maybe at Crown Jewel, possibly. And then Knight wins because the two of them just can't stop fighting each other at this point. A real blood feud has developed between the two and something's got to give. Knight is done with them two. He's offered them both a fair shot, etc. But this is just a cute way to bring him in. A brief pause to the just endless singles matches, and then we're probably going to get back. Maybe that's why... Maybe now they leave, if it is just going to be a best of 7, they leave the decider hanging and we move to the triple threat. And because they're costing each other, they make their 7th for something. Do you know what I mean? It's like the last time they're ever going to fight.
Loser leaves. That's a Raw.
That kind of thing. Loser leaves SmackDown, or because they've done a US title shot as a stake for a match as well. If depending on how long it goes, it'd be like, well, the winner gets in the Royal Rumble, the loser doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like it's become its own prize to win this feud. Really, really impressive. I said before, like, WWE, while they're this hot, should try everything. I just didn't expect more wrestling to be one of those things they would try as a way to get somebody over. It's worked.
Speaking of Pretty Deadly, by the way, congratulations to both members of Pretty Deadly. We've had some fantastic news recently. Elton Prince becoming a dad with Kelly Kincaid, and Kit Wilson getting married to Stevie Turner. Lovely stuff.
Stevie Turner... of course, has a role on NXT, does she not?
She does.
An assistant of who is it? She's an assistant of?
She's assistant of Ava. She hasn't got the same. She's Rock's daughter, general manager of NXT and Booker of the Year.
That's right. Now, obviously she was presumably allowed time off at NXT for having her wedding, and her immediate colleague was presumably there as a guest and friend. And what's his name, Mike? Robert Stone. It just makes you wonder if he was at the wedding, because I haven't seen them together on screen in NXT this last couple of weeks. So.
Yeah. I've been sat the whole time watching
yeah, I was enjoying. I was talking to you specifically in a way.
Obviously. Owens and Orton are talking in the locker room. Cody Rhodes walks in and he says, can we have a chat? And he's like, not now, Cody. I'm matching 30 minutes, for Christ's sake. Got the rest of the week to have this chat. Piss off. Don't you interfere either.
It reminded me of Michael Winner in that insurance advert. Calm down, Cody. It's a commercial.
Orton said, oh, sorry about him. What's he like, eh? Don't listen to what he says. Please do come and interfere in the main event, basically.
Again, all logical. If you extend to the fact that people have been having backstage segments with people literally seconds before they got to matches, like all the time for the last 20 odd years, if we allow for Kevin Owens to be like, Cody, if there's one thing you know about me, it's that I don't like to be distracted 5 minutes before my matches. If you ignore that, everything else is good stuff here. It's happening on screen though, so yet again, as they've done with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, this was the week where you were allowed, where this misunderstanding is allowed.
Yeah.
Next week, Kevin Owens almost has to be a bit apologetic in tone and be like, right, I was angry with you, Cody. What I should have done is checked with Randy what the plan was, and then you kind of have to make it between them two because we all saw it. You can't then have Kevin Owens play dumb.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like Orton is the guy at the moment. You could argue that Orton is just trying to do right by everybody, but we can probably see the bigger picture developing as well. And that's great as well. Love this.
Nice AJ Styles vignette. He's back this week.
Yeah. Just talked about his contract status, didn't we, on the news last week?
Yeah.
So maybe this run is going to give us a tell as to whether or not he's staying or going.
Yeah, exactly. Good to see him back next week, though. Or this week, I should say, this Friday.
He was even more jacked than his last comeback. I hope he's seen Randy Orton and thought, I want some of that. Let's get so big we can't peel post-its off our backs.
He tried to do that. I can't put my hands together. I can't.
But he's bought ginormous gloves with long fingers. So they're still linked together. What, them are regular hands? Looks like a cartoon goalkeeper at a fair.
Right, ahead of the dumpster match this week, of course. Mm-hmm. We got a little prelude to this with Michin versus Piper Niven. With Chelsea Green there at ringside, carrying a bin that she chose to carry out, but also was completely repulsed by it.
Yeah.
Only Chelsea Green can get away with something like that.
She went to film her own vignettes at the tip and was disgusted by the tip.
Yeah. You love going to the tip, Nicholas. You love, like we were talking about our love as children, go to tip with dad.
When you ever go to the tip when you were younger? It's great, wasn't it?
Did you have what was your shop called?
I don't know what it was called, but I was just explaining the concept of a tip shop, where like the best the tip shop, where the best stuff before it was chucked in the skip or whatever, they'd sort of resell it in a mini sort of shop come car boot sale type thing. Got some awesome stuff from there. Right, tip shop, and just a tip, just in general, like having something that was just old that you were sick of. Can I throw that one? This like broken chair and just lobbing it as far as you can with those massive skips.
Yeah.
They're great. It's a bit difficult now. There's about 9 skips because it's great that you've got
we can go on. We'll go one day. We'll do the podcast from...
I'd love to do a podcast from the tip. The people at the tip would not like that.
No. Easy technical setup, recording at a tip. Obviously, early on, Niven... Piper Niven is...
we are finally where we belong.
You're looking for that special thing to put on my performance for next year. Do a podcast in the bin.
I'm amazed that like you didn't, when you were working for local radio, there wasn't like a contest where like skip tracks. Adam Wilbourn is in a skip, and like you have to. There was like an Ed Sheeran song that the DJ would skip it, and it would cut to you in a skip, giving away free tickets to Ed Sheeran.
Keep talking 1 second.
Oh, guys. I haven't. Go on.
So we do a special once a week or once a month, maybe.
Once a week from the tip.
From the tip.
Right.
Call it just the tip.
just the tip. Just the tip. It's like a SmackDown Lowdown or Raw Talk. It's like ancillary content. Yeah. Just the tip. You don't have to make a Photoshop of that, Brian. That's all right. What are you going to produce?
I can't find it right now, but we had a competition when I was in commercial radio. where you had to find, from the breakfast show, producer Barry, who was one of the good ones, I'll say.
Yeah.
Producer Barry's in a bin somewhere in Birmingham. And you had to find him. And for ease, he just was outside my house. So he was just sat in a big green wheelie bin. And people had to work out where he was. Yeah, pretty much. Like, where's producer Barry using a beer?
Just thinking, poor Barry.
Yeah, it wasn't bin day.
Anyone coming for me? Or they just pick up the bin straight in the lorry. Lads.
Hang on.
Barry in the bin.
Unsurprisingly, me just searching producer Barry in a bin has not come up with.
Did you have any promotional material where you were in like high vis? Like a rubbish collector?
I need to try and find this.
Barry in a bin. His parents like, oh, Barry's a big radio hotshot now. Tell him what you did at work at the weekend. No, just producing stuff. Just produced. So if Barry was the producer, does that mean that would be your role in this charade? Adam Binnell.
Yeah, you're the bin.
You're the bin now. We don't make the rules.
You're the bin.
Honestly, I'm fine.
Yeah, I am the bin.
Barry in the... How is Barry now?
It's cool, good actually. Yeah. That's amazing that I've just gone on Facebook to try and find it. You want to tell us what we're looking at there?
Right.
I can tell you who that is, by the way, if you're unaware.
Is it Carol Vorderman?
It's Ella Henderson.
I keep going to the river to pray. I saw her supporting Kylie Minogue.
I like Ella Henderson. She was lovely.
I think it was Kylie. Anyway, I saw her.
She was off of X Factor, wasn't she?
Get out of my figure out. Get out of the funny who. Right, Wilbourn. Wilbourn is closed his eyes, fists of pure emotion, two of them, while holding the microphone. Ella Henderson's got a finger in it. Well, but you can't sing.
Yeah,
like that.
but she's not the only one, is she?
He's joined.
Mirror Man. She was on Mirror Man, didn't she?
Yes, I believe so.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I know Mirror Man by the Human League, I think it is. So it's not just Ella Henderson with a finger in her ears because Wilbourn's singing his bloody songs. I'm going to take a guess at this, right? It's a mascot wearing a hoodie with the logo of the company that he worked for on. So I'm going to go with, because they like alliteration, the Free Radio Ferret?
It's close. It's Humphrey, the free radio hamster.
Obviously, you went too far on the house.
I'm not sure if you can see that or not.
Jesus Christ.
No, funny story about that, actually. He would like, wait, because they did this awful advert that I had on telly, and it was like, this woman was like,
this woman was camel.
oh, bloody hell, turn the radio on, I want some music on. What's this free radio? Click. And she like,
All radio's free, it's a BBC.
Yeah, trust me, we're going on time to talk about that, right? Click, free radio. Well, let's have a listen to this. And like Katy Perry's Hot and Cold, whatever played.
Yeah.
And she left the room. The bloody hamster's like, well, this is an absolute banger. And they're just dancing. And that was the advert. Oh, God. I guess Radio 1's finished. Sweet. Jesus.
Music to make your hamster dance, and not to mention Barry in a bin.
Oh, my God. Let's see if I got any pictures from Barry in a bin. I go there. Barry in a bin. No, I can't find it.
Oh, crikey.
I'll search for Barry in the
Humphrey, the free radio hamster.
So I've definitely told you this story before. Yeah. Trust me, that's one of many, many bad creatives that we had to just...
Stupid idea from bad creative. Yeah. You see Humphrey the hamster just walking out, leaving.
So they were promoting... What was the... Is it the Lorax? The Danny DeVito voice?
The Dr. Seuss one.
Yeah. So they decided for some reason they had the red carpet, or the orange carpet as it was, for that on Broad Street in Birmingham. And the breakfast presenters, who were produced by Barry, independent producer, were interviewing Danny DeVito. And someone clearly went, get Humphrey the Radio Hamster in the background, like, shoved him on, right, on this big stage, and like, oh, Danny, what was it, tell us more about being the Lorax or whatever. And there's Humphrey like, hey! And we were stood near the manager or whatever of Danny DeVito, and the person went, get that f***ing squirrel off the stage! Yeah, that was Humphrey's time.
Were you ever inside Humphrey?
No, I was
What?
too big by that point.
Barry did it. You should fight Barry hanging out the back of anything. Swear.
Right. I'm going to run through this match, and then once you give your thoughts, I'm going to try and find Barry in a bin on my 40s. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So, Chelsea Green's on the outside. Yeah, we haven't finished it. We just talked about the tip for a bit.
Just the tip.
Anyway. Chelsea Green distracts Michin, and that allows Piper Niven to hit a cannonball on her to take us to a break. When we come back, Niven's shoulder blocking Michin, hits a cannonball in the corner, gets a 2 count, goes for a splash, but Michin moves and just nails her with chops and kicks and that. She hit a crucifix bomb for a 2 count, but she comes back, and then Niven catches her with a sidewalk slam. Niven puts her in the corner, goes for the Niven bomb, but Michin moves. But Niven comes back with a Michinoku driver to get a 2 count. And in the end, Chelsea Green distracts the referee, tries to get the bin involved, the trash can. But in amongst all this, Michin kicks Chelsea Green off the apron and also dodges a cannonball from Piper Niven, who just nails the trash can. And Michin gets her back in the ring. Eat defeat 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I liked Michin overcoming the numbers game of Niven, Chelsea Green, and Barry.
It was great. I like the fact she just didn't hold back there.
Again, there's not loads to it. The premise is fairly thin, but a bit of stakes, a bit of story. The idea that whoever's going to win,
I'm pumped for this week.
This dumpster match, they've done well to build it. Chelsea Green just elevates everything she's involved with. There is now a little bit as well of Michin, like Me Bin is now law. Because obviously she got like annihilated by Nia Jax with a bin on her, and this is now she's got to like exercise her bin demons. So she'll do it in a dumpster match against Chelsea Green. All right, this low bar, but all right. You got him.
Not there yet. I'm going back through my glory days. Let's say not quite back there yet.
Driving me crazy with Adam Wilbourn. That's right, isn't it? Radio Station 23.
They did. Adam learns to drive. Beep, beep.
It's the wheelie bit with the steering wheel.
Then they remind us not only is AJ Styles return next week, but we've got a triple threat ladder match for the tag team titles. It's the Bloodline defending against the Street Profits and DIY and the dumpster match. This card looks great this week.
Another good week, plenty to look forward to.
And also Jade Cargill after a break and Bianca Belair are going to be hosting Bad Blood.
I don't know. Attempt to keep the profiles out there, I guess, maybe. Feels a bit empty. Triple H is not answering his critics, I don't think, with the... it's coming more to the boil, the lack of representation, I think, for black wrestlers in Triple H and WWE. And I think we have to look at like hosting gigs and assess whether or not this is really part of it or what. But we'll see. You know, Bianca Belair and Io Sky had one of like the best Raw matches in ages the other week. So it's not that they're not featuring, but both of them still feel these belts are not elevating them. They're elevating these belts.
Yeah,
still.
Without question. Naomi's walking backstage. Bayley sort of sheepishly goes up and apologizes to her. And Naomi says, "You're not sorry." Oh. But I wouldn't be either if I'd have won. Hey, all right. We'll run it back one day. Good luck, basically, for next week. Naomi keeps walking, and Tiffany Stratton walks in and says, at least you'll have a good view of Nia Jax beating the crap out of Bayley. And Naomi says she's going to go and speak to the SmackDown GM, can't remember what his name is, to book a match between the two of them for next week. Yeah, another defeat, one would assume. She kind of like looks for answers and changes and all that sort of stuff. I like this character direction, really. Yeah. We got a recap of Cinema between Cody and Roman, and then it was time for the main event. It was the Bloodline versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Back and forth early on, and then Orton comes in to face Fatu, who fights back, clotheslines him over the top rope to the floor, and Orton, I love this, caught Fatu, backdropped him on the table, And he just no-sold it completely.
Brilliant.
But Orton just grabbed him and hit it 3 more times, and Michael Cole forgot what the thing that after triple was.
You love this, didn't you?
So he dropped him on the table, no sell, dropped him again. Double, triple, it's a 4. Quadruple is the word you were looking for. And then he did it to Solo to take us through a break. That was a good spot.
Yeah. A lot of the match being centered yet again around Jacob Fatu being impervious to a lot of the stuff the babyfaces try continues to be successful.
Yeah.
Because he's so good at portraying a man that can't be hurt as well. This is such a good run.
When we come back, Sikoa's working over Owens, but they fight on the top rope, and Sikoa gets knocked down. Owens goes for a swanton, but Sikoa gets his knees up. Fatu comes in and just wrecks everyone, as he always does. Eventually, though, Owens gets out of a lockup with Sikoa, gets over to Orton for the hot tag, who comes in and cleans house. Snap power slam on both Sikoa and Fatu, draping DDT on Solo, sets up for an RKO, but Jacob Fatu intervenes, and that allows Solo to recover and hit him with a Samoan drop. Sikoa goes to the outside, and Owens is back up on the apron, finally comes back in as the legal man, runs around, clotheslines everyone, swantons everyone, hits a frog splash on Jacob Fatu as well, goes up top, hits a swanton on Sikoa inside the ring, but can only get 2, and then of course here come the lackeys, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa run down. The distraction allows Solo to hit a spinning solo on Kevin Owens for a near fall. But then Cody's music hits. He comes down with a chair and takes care of both of them. Tongaloa, I think it was, ends up in the ring and gets given an RKO by Randy Orton. It all breaks down, and Owens hits a stunner on Sikoa. He's going to do it. I like the fact they keep peppering this in, that he's never pinned anyone in the bloodline.
Yeah, nice detail.
He's going to, which also is a nice fact for Survivor Series. The more I think about it, for Roman to be like, here's your chance to finally do it. Yeah. He's got him. Fatu's taken out. Stunner on Sikoa. 1, 2. What the hell's that? Because Cody got thrown into the ring, into the referee. So that breaks up everything. Owens is furious, turns around. Jacob Fatu just super kicks his head off several times. And Sikoa nails him. Samoan spike. 1, 2, 3. They win. They are happy as Larry as they head up the ramp. And problems still for Cody, who's cost Orton and Owens. He tries to apologize. Owens is mad and shoving him. Orton tries to get in between them. And in the end, Owens accepts it and hugs him, but all is not well here.
Good booking. Really good booking all the way around here. Right to the sort of the inciting incident with Cody, because his body being what Kevin Owens feels as this match trickles away from him is a nice thing that you, not that you can relate to it as such, but you can feel Owens' frustration at this physical interjection of Cody Rhodes directly, as he was just a second away from all the sort of redemption he's needed. It was a nice way to arrive at that finish. But also, we the viewer might know that Solo and Jacob, barring some sort of miracle, don't really or barring something going wrong, don't really stand a chance against Cody and Roman. But they shouldn't think that. No. They shouldn't feel like that they need to be afraid of Roman and Cody, or that the only thing Solo can do is hope that he can stir up trouble. They should believe they can win. And they've just beaten the best of the rest. In Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, they've beaten everybody else but Cody and Roman. So it's almost like, it's as if Cody and Roman were the tag team champions. It's like, right, now you're the #1 contenders. You're the prize. We've shown that we can topple everybody else as a unified bloodline. Like, the last thing you want to be is fighting with each other, because look, we can beat you in a tag match, let alone when you can't even get along. So this was the right time to illustrate that. But within the body of all of that, Jacob Fatu has this really great night, as he always does at the moment. Solo Sikoa looked credible again for a minute. It won't last. It never does with him anymore. I think the bloom's off that rose, because I think too many bad nights have done damage to his aura. But you can absolutely fake it. Yeah. And with the bloodline at the moment, my whole deal is, if they buy it, I will buy it. And they are coming across again as an actual threat on SmackDown, especially when it's 4-on-3 or 4-on-2 or whatever. Cody making the save because it was the right thing to do, and because Orton gave him the invite, allowed you for the stress afterwards. And right before we see Lee Fitting, and who else is the executive producer on?
I believe it was H.
The other sort of aspect of that, I guess, of Cody making the save. Aspic. This booking won't make your teeth go grey. The beauty of like sort of Owens and Cody making up as the last shot is that all can be well for a week. It's not Kevin Owens now waits 7 days to unconvincingly have it out with Cody as to why a Randy Orton piece of advice cost him the match.
I like the fact that when Orton turns, if Owens hasn't turned, Owens is like, do you see how many times I could have turned on him and I've not done it? And Orton's like the one thing that for the first time he says, actually, you can't have the title.
Okay.
Right,
yeah, that's it. The contrast is there. We said this from the start of the Owens stuff. It was all about the contrast with what we presumed was going to happen with Randy Orton, and it appears to be playing out in that direction. I'm glad we came back to it in the match because it was the thing I couldn't remember. What's this clue? And it was the really hitting hard that Owens can't pin a Bloodline member that started to make me think, he's pinning the Bloodline member and Roman's helping him. That felt like part of it as well.
Well, let us know your thoughts on SmackDown and Bins in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Subscribe to What Culture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcast. The Raw preview is available right now. And me and Sid are going to be reviewing AEW Collision Greens a little bit later on today. Let us know your thoughts on X at What Culture WWE. What actually you can there follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow our brilliant producer at It's Adam Nicholas. You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at What Culture WWE. But this has been the SmackDown review where we talked about Bayley becoming the #1 contender of Bad Blood, Andrade and Mello stealing the show yet again. Michin versus Piper Niven, Nia Jax threatening Tiffany Stratton, and of course Cody Rhodes costing Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
The SmackDown review. It's got all this, Barry in a bin, and so much more.
We'll see you soon.